The final chart we are going to discuss about is something known as a combo chart. As the name suggests, if you have two data points on two different parameters and you want to kind of represent both of them in one particular chart, that's where something like a combo chart is useful. So let's try and understand this as we look at the data given on the screen. We have data given for, let's say, transport companies' cars, or a pool of cars which are running a certain number of kilometers every month, and what is the average that they are kind of clocking in those months per liter, essentially, right? So these are the number of kilometers that have been clocked every month, January to December, and this is the average kilometer per liter which has been clocked in terms of the average that each of these vehicles is kind of giving on average during those months. So let's say there are 10 cars. 10 cars put together run 8,670 kilometers during the month, and their average fuel consumed gives a mileage of 24.5 kilometers per liter. Now we want to kind of put this in the form of a chart. Ideally, we can try and probably take this, and let's understand the problem of using conventional charting with this. If we pick up a column chart, what we see is that essentially the second data point, which is around kilometers per liter, is practically non-visible. That's so small that it actually just comes somewhere very close to the horizontal axis. You see these small red bars here that are available here. You see the small red here and here. This is what the kilometer per hour data is. Now, this is the problem, that it may not be best to kind of denote data in this format. So what we need to do is understand how does, let's say, something like a combo chart work. So let's delete this and select the data once again. Just select the data, click on insert, and somewhere here, the last one that you see is what is the combo chart, right? So let's look at the combo chart details. Let's select the first combo chart and we select this combo chart. When you select this combo chart, it essentially gives you again a similar problem where it is showing the first data point, which is kilometers clocked every month, as columns, the blue ones. The second data point, however, which is kilometers per liter, shows here as the red line. Now, why does it show here as the red line? Is because 24 when compared to 8,000 is such a small number that it doesn't appear on the chart. So is there a way to deal with this? One of the ways to deal with this is essentially say that rather than putting our scale on this side, how about we introduce another scale on this side, right? So there are two scales, and we could track the data on both sides of the chart, right? So we can create what is called as a secondary axis. So remember, this is my primary axis. I can create what is called as a secondary axis on the other side. Let's try and do that. So what we will do is we'll select the data series, the red one, and right click and say format data series. When you say format data series, the options that open up on the right side directly ask you the straight question whether you want to plot the series on the primary axis where it is already there, or you want to quote it on the secondary axis, which we will create, right? Let's say we choose secondary axis, and immediately you see there is a change in the axis, the way the data is represented, because the axis is created on the right hand side. And now very clearly what happens is that your kilometers, which is column 1, is being looked at on the primary scale on the left hand side, and your kilometers per liter, which is the second data point in this column, is being tracked on the right hand side. What you could do is, to denote this better, is you can say this is the left hand scale, and you can say this is the right hand scale. And why is that relevant? Is because you will see that the legend of this particular chart will show you whether you are on the left hand scale or on the right hand scale, so that gives you a data which is not just comparable against another set of data with different ranges, but also fairly aesthetic to look at in terms of plotting both of these data points, which are related data points in the same chart, right? Now, is there a direct way? Everything else can be done exactly the same. You can look at the data saying cab company averages as the chart title. Always good to put a chart title so that you understand what is the chart about. And then you can do a control B. Everything that we have learned with the line chart, can get applied on this axis. So you can format the data series. You can go to the series options and you can go down, and right below this, if you don't like these charts which are kind of abruptly turning up and down, you could move the smooth line. You convert it to a smooth line and it looks much more again aesthetic in terms of how does the change happen across the various data points. So that's basically what a secondary chart would look like. Excel actually allows you to do this in multiple formats. So again, as you hover it across some of the other options which are available at the top of the screen, you could get the chart in any of those formats. We could actually delete this entire thing, select it again, and when you're saying insert the chart, combo charts, remember we chose the first one, clustered column line chart, but we could have chosen the third one, or we could have chosen the second one directly. The second one directly says clustered column line on secondary axis, right? When you have mixed type of data, you could choose that, and essentially that gives you your final data set, which we have kind of created using our options of creating a combo chart. That's how combo charts work. That's where combo charts are useful. And essentially remember that whenever you have two different data sets that you have to plot on the same time frame, and you have a relationship between those data points, and there is a significant difference between those data points. So one of the data points is averaging around 6,000, the other is averaging about 20. Obviously, if you show them on the same scale, they will not appear correctly. So it's a good idea to probably put them on separate scales. That's how you look at combo charts.